I'm Akira,
and you're watching
Dontae's Boxing Nation.
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So after one of the best fights I've seen in quite some time, definitely fight of the year, Deontay Wilder, he finally comes out and gives his thoughts on losing this fight. He said, I did my best, but it wasn't good enough. He came to lean on me, try to rough me up, and he succeeded. You know, the irony in Deontay Wilder saying that is right before the fight. I think it was at the weigh-in. He said, I'm benching 305 pounds, so there's no way he's going to be able to lean on me like he did in that last fight. I'm going to be able to pick him up when he leans on me. And we didn't see any of that. And we didn't see any of this either. All these combinations we seen Deontay Wilder throwing in training, you see those hooks he was throwing to the body? I kept telling people, if Deontay Wilder does 20% of what we seen him doing in training, he beats Tyson Fury hands down. And we didn't even get 20%. I didn't see one single hook to the body. I didn't even see one single hook to the head by Deontay Wilder. After around the third or fourth round, he completely abandoned his jab. Matter of fact, I remember the commentator saying after like the 7th or the 8th round that Wilder has only threw like 2 or 3 jabs in the last 4 rounds. And this is what I told you he had to do to win the fight. I kept telling you guys, Wilder has to have a stiff jab, one of those Larry Holmes type of jabs to set up the right hand. And he has to go to the body with those jabs, those 1-2s. And it's so crazy because Deontay Wilder started off doing just that, and it completely took Tyson Fury out of his game. And that's why the first round didn't look anything like the first round in their second fight. In fact, like I had told you guys previously, the third fight looked nothing like the second fight. It didn't even look like the first fight. Now, there's a reason why I keep replaying this clip right here. Do you guys notice how fast, how energetic Deontay Wilder is when he's throwing this punch to the body or this combination to the body? Where was all of this energy and speed in the fight? Deontay Wilder looked like he was completely punch drunk in the fight. I just don't get it. I mean, you guys go back and you watch Bermane-Stiverne. You watch Deontay Wilder versus Bermane-Stiverne. Even the Luis King Kong Ortiz fights, where Deontay Wilder was clearly getting outboxed in both of those fights. But when you look at Deontay Wilder's energy level, when you look at the speed, the velocity he throws his punches with, it looks like two different people. Now, I've told you guys this before, you know, in the sport of boxing, it could just take one punch, or it could take you going through a war, or you being in a war, maybe one fight or a couple fights, where a fighter ends up never being the same. You just show up in the ring one day, and now you're unrecognizable, at least with your style, at least what you're doing in the ring, how you look, how you perform. We've seen this with Roy Jones. All it took was for Roy Jones to get hit with one single punch by Antonio Tarver. From that point, he was never the same. Then you have a fighter like Muhammad Ali, who went through an enormous amount of punishment compared to Roy Jones Jr., and yet you see Roy Jones almost fighting the same way that Ali was fighting when he was in the ring with Larry Holmes or Trevor Berbick, someone that we don't recognize. And this is what we've seen this Saturday with Deontay Wilder. Don't get me wrong, Deontay Wilder was never a skilled fighter. He was always known for his heart and his will. That's how he won fights, right? That's what made him extremely dangerous. But even though he was never really skilled, he still had better reflexes. He still had more steam. He still was more excited when he was in the ring. We also have to attribute that to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, he came in the ring almost 50 pounds bigger than Deontay Wilder. But at the same time, you got to give Tyson Fury credit because I feel like Tyson Fury, he looked quicker than Deontay Wilder. And unlike Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury was actually listening to his trainer. Everything his trainer told him to do, Tyson was doing it. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, he completely abandoned the game plan after like the second round. The first 2 rounds, he was looking great. And once again, he took Tyson Fury out of his game. Tyson didn't know what to do. Tyson didn't even really throw any punches in the first round because of that 1-2 that Deontay kept throwing to the body. Do you guys know that if Deontay Wilder would have just stayed with throwing nothing but 1-2s to the body the whole fight, and maybe every once in a blue moon coming up top with some jabs and some right hands, he would have won this fight easy. Especially if he would have added those hooks to the body that we seen him doing on the mitts. You know, whenever Tyson got too close to him, hit him with those hooks to the body and then pivot to the right. Because that's what he did in training. Man, if he would have did all of those things, which would have probably been about, like I told you, 15 to 20% of what he was working on, he would have won this fight. But I am extremely surprised that Tyson Fury struggled with this version of Deontay Wilder. This version of Deontay Wilder should have been knocked out within 3 rounds, like Tyson Fury predicted. I think he said the first round or something he said. But this version of Deontay Wilder should have been knocked out a lot earlier, a lot sooner. Once again, not only did he only have the right hand in this fight, on top of that, Deontay Wilder, he looked out on his feet the whole fight. This is why I'm telling you guys, a fighter like Dillian Whyte is going to give Tyson Fury a lot of problems. See, when I tell you something like that, I don't just say it, I break it down and explain why. The reason why I believe someone like Dillian Whyte is going to give Tyson Fury a lot of problems, because once again, if you have a Deontay Wilder who looks like he's out on his feet and all he throws is a wild telegraph right hand, and this guy can go, 11 rounds and almost win the fight against Tyson Fury? Well, with Dillian Whyte, you guys have to remember, Dillian Whyte has knocked down Tyson Fury several times in sparring. And Tyson Fury himself, he's never denied these allegations, right? But more importantly, Dillian Whyte is a complete fighter. Now, when I say complete, I'm not saying that he's Muhammad Ali or he's Lennox Lewis or Mike Tyson or whatever. What I'm saying to you guys is when you look at the dichotomy between him and Deontay Wilder, with Dillian Whyte, you have to worry about a good jab. You have to worry about a good right hand, a good overhand right, a good left hook. You have to worry about counter hooks to the body. You have to worry about everything with Dillian Whyte. And guys, understand this. You know, Tyson Fury, he's been really, really fortunate to have the type of opponents that he's had to really, really win signature fights. Because his 2 biggest wins are against Vladimir Klitschko and Deontay Wilder. And those are both really, really good wins, big wins. But the truth is, Vladimir Klitschko, he was a jabber grabber. All Vladimir Klitschko did was jab you and then grab you and try to set you up with a hard right hand. Deontay Wilder, he throws nothing but the right hand. He doesn't even jab. And he telegraphs the right hand, and that's the only weapon that he has. So my point is, Tyson Fury hasn't really fought a complete fighter at the heavyweight division yet. And fighters like Dillian Whyte, Jarrett Anderson, Joe Joyce, and even Usyk, even though Usyk may be a little too small, but he is a complete fighter. These type of styles, and Anthony Joshua, of course, if he can beat Usyk in a rematch. But these type of styles will be more difficult for Tyson Fury because they are complete fighters, just like Tyson Fury is a complete fighter, right? The truth is, this is the reason why Floyd Mayweather would always bet against Deontay Wilder, because he knew that Deontay Wilder had the perfect type of style to bet against. Wilder is most likely always going to be the favorite, and he's always going to be getting outboxed until he knocks you out. That's the perfect type of person to bet against. But it was nothing personal, even though Deontay Wilder felt it was personal. It was no different than betting against the Lakers in the finals. You think LeBron James or whoever is going to take that personal? Of course not. So once again, Tyson Fury, he's going to have a problem with a lot of these complete fighters that throws more than just a telegraph right hand. I really look forward to seeing how the Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte fight will play out. I mean, I think it's a 50-50 fight. Right now, Dillian Whyte is Tyson Fury's mandatory, so we'll see how it plays out. But at the end of the day, there's no doubt about it, this was a huge win for Tyson Fury. He closes the chapter in this book and moves on to fighting against other or taking on other challenges. So I want to say congratulations to the UK fans because you got a really, really, really big win. But when it comes to you race fans in America that are celebrating this win more than the UK is, not because Tyson Fury won, but because a black guy lost to Tyson Fury, if you understand my point. Since you guys look at things in terms of race, I would advise you to look at the scoreboard. Because basically, you guys see 1,000 non-black fighters losing to black fighters, and then all of a sudden, one or maybe even two non-black fighters beats a black fighter, and you guys start celebrating with all these racist comments. But this is all I'm gonna tell you. You better look at the scoreboard because you got a whole lot of points to make to catch up. Once again, this is why black Americans, they don't be jumping up and down. Oh my God, we got the win. Did you see that in your face? And all. We don't do this because we used to seeing these kind of wins. This is every day. Boxing is a sport completely based on race, nationality, and pride. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is read the comments. They will tell you. Not even the comments. You could talk to people in person. And you could see how they talk about non-black fighters versus black ones. We know what time it is at the end of the day. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the big day. SMPs at ScalpCarolinas. I need a real restoration. This is my makeover right here.
Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man ScalpCarolinas on Instagram. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man ScalpCarolinas on Instagram. Contact them at 704-499-3471 and make sure you follow them on Instagram. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.